Well guys, at the time of recording this episode, it's 4th of July, which is the day America gained its independence. America is known as a global superpower. It's known for its fat people. It's known for loving their guns. So today, I want to review a video game that is based on guns. Now, you may be thinking, am I going to be reviewing a game like Contra 3? No. Call of Duty Big Red One? No. Like I said, America is known as a global superpower, so today we're going to be playing with some superpower on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Now you're playing with power, superpower. But I don't think this is enough power, so to add more to the superpower, you're going to need the Super Nintendo Super Scope. Thank you, random guy.
You're welcome.
Wait, random guy?
You're welcome, Chris.
Get out of here!
You never saw me.
Well, that was a weirdly convenient plot device, but man, look how sick this gun looks. Yeah, now you're playing with superpower. The Super Scope is a light gun created by Nintendo in 1992. You may be thinking that light guns would probably be a new technology at the time. Well, it isn't. We also had the NES Zapper, but it goes further than that. The Magnavox Odyssey rifle. But guess what? It goes even further than that. But how is that possible? The Odyssey was the first video game console. Well, the first light gun wasn't a video game. It was a carnival arcade type game. It was called the Seaberg Rail Light, and it came out in 1936. Basically, you used the shotgun to shoot down the ducks, kind of like Duck Hunt. Obviously, there was no TV screen, so there was a little sensor on the duck, and when you pull the trigger, the diode in the gun detects the sensor and rings a bell if you hit it. Now obviously video games have a different method. First of all, the NES uses a light on the TV to work. When you're aiming at the target in the game and pull the trigger, the screen will flash black for a split second, and a white box will appear where the target is. The computer inside the NES calculates where the sensor in the light gun is pointing at. If the trigger was pulled and the sensor was aiming at any area inside of the white box, the computer registers it as a hit, and if it hits outside the box, the computer registers it as a miss. This is also why you need a CRT TV, because you need a TV with no input lag, because if you're using a TV like an LCD TV, you may be aiming directly at the target with your zapper, pull the trigger, and it still doesn't register as a shot. But the Super Nintendo Super Scope actually has another method for how it plays light gun games. You still need a CRT TV though. It's called cathode timing. This method uses the cathode ray tube inside of the TV. The screen is drawn by a scanning electron beam, which are the scan lines, starting at the top of the TV to the bottom. Then it repeats. As it's doing this, it's making the image line by line on the TV. It's not an instant image. This is how light guns were possible. HD TVs make the image immediately. But anyways, this is done rapidly, and it's not visible to the human eye as it's super fast. However, you can see it if you record it with your camera. The Super Scope comes with a sensor, the scope attachment, 6 AA batteries, and the gun itself. These batteries I have right here are the ones that came originally packaged with the Super Scope. So that means these don't have any more juice in them. But I don't have a brand new pack of AA's, so where would I find 6 AA's? course, this battery hog has it. Give me your 6 AA's. Now that we have that out of the way, why do we need a sensor for the Super Scope? Well, the sensor is used to relay the presses of the Super Scope's buttons. And the CRT TV sends the presses of the buttons to the sensor, and the sensor sends the information from the TV to the Super Nintendo. Very complex. The Super Scope has a really beautiful design. It takes the design of the American bazooka. The back of the gun has a shoulder rest that sits on your dominant shoulder. Hold the stable grip with your non-dominant hand, and press the buttons with your dominant hand. There's a switch with off, on, and turbo, which lets you make faster and more shots. The purple button's your fire button, and the light purple button is your pause button. There's also a cursor on the grip, but that's not used in the game we're reviewing. People always complain about the fire button being at the top, but I don't mind it. Now, we don't review systems or peripherals in this show, we only review games. I was just explaining how the gun works before we do it, because the way the gun works can sometimes dictate how the games work. Now, depending on what model your Super Scope is, sometimes it will come packed with a 6-game cartridge. Mine didn't, however. So this is the game we will be reviewing today, Super Scope 6. Now, there are 6 games on here, but we will be reviewing this game with the gun-loving, high-ranked military member of Penn Island, and here he is now, Joseph Stalin. I mean Jester. And don't forget me, Sergeant Janus. It's my time to shine. Why can't I be featured yet? Because you're an old fart. You'll be here for all the super classic NES games and all of the Atari games. Why can't I be young again? Alright, let's get started. But first, I'm gonna jump into something to really get into the 4th of July spirit. Alright, there we go. Much better. Released in 1992, Super Scope 6 is a multi-game cartridge with 6 different games. 3 are puzzle games, and 3 are military shooter-style games. When you turn on the system, you get a cool little intro title screen of the title, Super Scope 6, shot onto the screen. Press the fire button to start. But before you get into the game, a calibration screen will pop up to make sure the sensor gets the position of the gun. As you're playing, you can always recalibrate by pressing pause, because sometimes when you move, it will be a little bit off, so it's always nice that you can readjust it while you're playing. After that, you'll get into a second menu where you can adjust options. The first game collection is Blasters, with puzzle games, and then you have Laser Blazer, with your shooter action military games. Just imagine you went to your friend's house to play a puzzle, and you just whip out a gun for it. I actually did that when I was a kid. The game would be where I went to my friend's house, someone would have a gun, they would shoot some person, and the puzzle would be to find out who killed who. But I only got to play that game one time because we only had 2 people. Me and my friend. I think I won though. Jesus man, that sounds like fun. We should do that sometime. Count me in. Me too. No one likes you. Get out of here. We're gonna start with the puzzle games. So first up, Blasters. Alright, so there's 3 game modes. You have Blasters A, Blasters B, and Mole Patrol. We're gonna play Blasters A first. Whenever you start one of the games, you can choose the difficulty mode. Either low, medium, or high. But it's not really changing the difficulty. It basically shoots you to where the most difficult levels start. Anyways, let's get into the game. In Type A Blasters, you're basically playing Tetris, but it's horizontal, and you can't move the tetrominos. Basically what you do is shoot the pieces to make the tetrominos fit. If you shoot a block and it's disconnected from the other blocks, it will fall into the next space, and the other blocks will fall into their space. If you ever make a mistake, you could shoot the pieces that have been misplaced. You can only shoot a few times at once until a new block enters the screen, so be careful about your shooting. Now, there's multiple levels in this game, but they're unlimited. Each level just gets harder as you progress, and to complete a level, you need to complete 5 rows by filling a full line with the tetrominos. What I like about this is whenever you move on to another level, the Tetris board clears all of the tetrominos. So it's not simultaneous action like in regular Tetris games. The game ends when you have an overflow of blocks. An overflow happens when a whole horizontal line has all 10 spaces taken over by the blocks. The game really isn't all that special. Sure, the graphics are amazing, the blocks are shiny, but it calls for slow gameplay. I can probably play this for 10 to 15 minutes and then get bored. It's good as a time killer, but not as a game to really get you pumped up and to get you into the zone.
AutoZone.
But who knew when the first Tetris game came out that you'd be able to play with a gun in the future?
Oh, I did.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Hold on. Anything makes me excited. Let me have a try.
Yeah, never mind. This is boring.
I'm not excited at all.
Puzzle games aren't bad though. It's cool to play with a gun, but I don't think light guns were made to play puzzle games. Just do that with a regular controller. There's also a 2-player mode, where you take turns after each level with your friend passing the gun to each other. Alright Jester, I challenge you.
I hope you know you're going against the Super Scope World Championship, Chris.
The only thing you're good at is clogging a toilet. Every time you drop a turd, the toilet overflows.
Okay, shut up and play the game. Yes, I win!
Let's move on to Blasters B. There's 2 modes again, Type A and Type B. But why are there letter modes of letter games? Whatever. In Type A of Blasters B, you have these metal-colored blocks at the base of the screen. You have to get rid of those blocks down there. To do that, you shoot the blocks that are falling down to change the color of the side of the block. These blocks have to fall to make 3 or more in a row. It can be vertical, horizontal, or diagonal. These games play more like Nintendo's Dr. Mario and Sega's Columns. But these aren't the only blocks that fall. There's also those metal blocks that fall. These blocks can be annoying because you cannot change the color of them. All of the sides are the same color. It's here to mess you up and potentially cause an overflow. I say they can be annoying because, well, sometimes they can help you. They may actually give you the correct color you need over a certain spot to get 3 or more in a row. Now, just as a clarification, you don't have to get rid of all the new metal blocks that fall on the screen. You only have to get rid of the metal blocks that are at the bottom of the screen when you started. Because you, my friend, would be spending an hour or more trying to complete one level. Now that I think about it, it actually is more like Tetris 2. As you progress through the levels, there will be more starting blocks at the bottom of the screen, and metal blocks will be generated more often. The game ends whenever you overflow with blocks. Other than that, infinite levels. Now let's look at Type B of this minigame. In this mode, you basically move on to different levels after every 25 seconds. No, the level cleared screen doesn't show up. It just goes non-stop and sees how far you can make it, and also what score you get. There's no clearing a set of metal bricks. That's all there is to Blasters B. Graphics look great, blocks are shiny, and the music's good. It's actually a pretty good game. I don't get bored that easily. I probably get bored after like 25 minutes playing. Now those 2 games were alright, but now let's look at the worst game on Super Scope 6, and actually the worst game on the Super Scope, and that is Mole Patrol.
What? No game on the Super Scope sucks! It's super!
Yeah? So is the Super Nintendo. That's super, but there's still awful games on that system. Mole Patrol is basically the popular carnival arcade game known as Whack-A-Mole, where you would take a mallet and whack the moles when they pop out of a hole to score. You see how many you can hit before the time runs out. That's basically what Mole Patrol is, but with levels and another thing I'll get to in a minute. There are two game modes, Stage Mode and Score Mode. We're gonna start with Stage Mode. When you start, 12 aliens will walk onto the screen. Wait, hold on a second. Alright, I already have a problem with this game. It's called Mole Patrol, even though those aren't moles, they're aliens. I know this may sound like a nitpick, but that's kinda like saying Doki Doki Panic is a Mario game. How do you mess that up? They should have called it something like, I don't know, Alien Patrol. That fits what you do in the game and it actually sounds a lot cooler. Anyways, you have 12 purple aliens that walk onto the screen and jump into a pipe to get into their holes. And there's also 5 pink aliens. So you have to shoot all of the purple aliens before the time runs out. You start with 150 seconds. The round ends after all the purple aliens are shot. But we saw there were pink aliens at the pipe too. What do they do? The pink aliens are the ones that you don't want to shoot. Avoid shooting them at all costs. Whenever you shoot the pink aliens, they'll speed up the game and the aliens will go insane. The aliens pop out and back into their holes super fast when a pink alien is shot. This is kinda like the Whack-A-Mole minigame in Super Mario Bros. DS when you hit a Luigi. He takes some moles away from you. It happens for only 5 seconds though when you shoot a pink alien. But you'll miss the purple aliens a lot of times when this happens. And it wastes time also and counts onto the score screen. The game is pretty boring though. Whack-A-Mole isn't really a game I'd want to spend 5 or more minutes on. I'll play Type A longer than I do with Mole Patrol. Though, I gotta say, Mole Patrol is probably the game on this cart that has the most impressive graphics. Just look at the detail in the background and the moving sky in the background. Now on to the second game mode, Score Mode. In this mode, you try to see how great of a score you can get after completing a Mole Patrol game. Your score is dictated by how fast you complete it, the timing of your shots, and how many shots you've missed. When you complete a round, you'll get a score from 0 to 100. The scorecard will show your score, the shots you've missed, the targets you've missed, and the positions you thought the aliens were in. This literally lasts like 10 to 15 seconds. It's so boring. It's like watching QVC infomercials. What makes it more boring is how bland it looks. It looked good on Stage Mode, but the Score Mode is just the gameplay. It doesn't have the score counter, the time counter, and it doesn't have the alien counter. It's very bland compared to Stage Mode. The information on the screen adds more to the appeal, surprisingly. Mole Patrol isn't terrible per se, but it gets boring very quickly. Why would a Whack-A-Mole game be on Super Scope 6? It's a really boring game, even though we are using the Super Scope. Anyways, let's move on to the better 3 games on Super Scope 6. Alright, time for Laser Blazer. Now we're really getting into the fun stuff. Like I said in the start, Laser Blazer is your action, shooter, military combat style games. There are 3 games in this category: Intercept, Engage, and Confront. We're gonna start off with Intercept. In Intercept, you have 30 levels where you have to shoot down enemy missiles before they reach the end of your ship and damage it. If you get hit 5 times, it's game over. Intercept can actually be a bit challenging at times. When you're playing, you'll have missiles that are closer distance to you, making it easy to hit. But as you play further, you'll also have missiles farther away from you, meaning you have to shoot far in front of the missile to actually hit it. It can be really challenging. I miss a lot of times, and you can only shoot 3 missiles at once, which it can take time for it to refill, and there can also be multiple missiles on the screen at once sometimes. In fact, all of these missiles are far away. Crap!
Stop whining, Private! Shoot those missiles as if it was coming straight towards our house!
Guess our house didn't survive then. On the bottom of the screen, we have the level we're on, the ship's health, the number of enemy missiles there are left, and the number of missiles we have shot from our gun, and our radar. On the radar, we can see where on the screen missiles are coming from. This can allow us to react faster when a new missile shows up. After all the missiles are gone, we have completed the level and can move on to the next.
Alright, so there's 30 levels in this game. You can get hurt quite easily, which means you'll die a lot. It takes some time getting used to, but luckily, there's a way to heal in this game, and that's all thanks to my favorite video game character of all time, Mario! You've never disappointed anyone. Get out of here!
Occasionally you'll run into Mario on a plane, but he's being chased by Lemmy Koopa on a missile. If you shoot down Lemmy, Mario will be saved, and our favorite plumber will give you a health bar back.
Are you kidding me? 1 health bar? Gee, thanks, that's gonna help me out on the next 17 missions I have left! You've disappointed me.
You can also play 2-player mode, where you take turns playing 3 levels and see who does best. The graphics on this game are great, the sky is moving fast, and the canyons have so much detail. However, I do wish the explosions looked cooler. Alright, now on to Engage. In this game you're playing as a pilot in an air combat dogfight. In this game you'll have to shoot down enemy fighter jets before they get too close to you, and also avoid missiles that come out of nowhere. These missiles are fast, so beware, but I do have a tip for you. Shoot it when the missiles get closer to you. It may sound like a suicide mission, but the missiles are easier to hit up close since they appear bigger. The game is easier than Intercept. I'm really good at Engage. I've never been hit by the jets in this game once, though I have been hit by the missiles before. The bottom GUI shows what level you're on, our health bar along with a display showing what parts of the ships are damaged. We have the number of enemies we have left to kill, the number of missiles we have came across, the amount of missiles we've shot, and the enemy radar. We also have an energy bar, which drains during each level. Once you have completed a level by shooting all of the enemies, you'll be brought to a screen where a ship refuels your energy. Occasionally a red ship will come up and restore a hit point.
What the heck? Still only 1 health bar?
So that's Engage for you. It's really fun and can keep you entertained for quite a while. Graphics are decent, the water's cool I guess, and moves fast. Nothing too special though. Unless you're a caveman like the old man who plays nothing but NES and Atari. My only main complaint is the music. Where is it? Did they forget to put in the music? Or did they just let signal noise of an enemy missile be the song? I don't know.
Alright, now on to the final game on this cartridge, and actually my favorite.
Confront! This is my favorite game on Super Scope 6. Basically, defend your ship from enemy ships, which I'm guessing are aliens. Just look at them. You stay in a fixed spot and have to shoot all of the enemies to come. Some start off farther away, and some start closer. If they're farther away, you have to shoot further from the side of the ship like we did in Intercept. It can be a bit challenging though, but like I said in Intercept, it takes some time to get used to. The UI is the same as Intercept, except it has the ship analysis screen like it did in Engage. The graphics also look pretty good. I especially like the Moai statues midway into the game.
Hey Jester, the Moai statues have a big nose like you. What the heck? It was just in my hands! Don't make fun of Jester, Chrissy boy. Alright, I'm sorry, just give it back. God.
The music's also good, though I feel like for all of the Laser Blazer games, it should have been a little more intense like Contra 3, but not too intense so it can match its atmosphere. So once you defeat all the ships, you can progress to the next level. So yeah, those are all the games on Super Scope 6. It's a pretty good game, it's nothing mind-blowing, but I'm sure you can get some enjoyment out of it.
Now with the review out the way, let's get into the scoring.
Alright, real quick. For scoring arcade and minigame type games, I created a separate score system. Arcade games like this don't have a story. Some do, but others don't. So I made this score system, and the only thing different about it is the story is now replay value. Anyways, the graphics are scored 0 to 10, music and audio 0 to 20, replay value 0 to 25, gameplay 0 to 30, and controls 0 to 35. This all adds up to 120 points total. I give the graphics of Super Scope 6 a 9 out of 10. The graphics were very amazing for its time. Just look how shiny the blocks are, the scrolling background, and the detail to ground and such. And also, the rotating blocks in Blasters B. It looks 3D. It's always pleasing to look at the graphics. It really shows what the Super Nintendo is capable of doing. Though, I do feel that the explosion effects could have been a bit more cooler. Maybe add some darker red and orange to the mix. Not the end of the world though. And look at the background of Laser Blazer. This is just amazing. I give the music and audio of Super Scope 6 a 16.5 out of 20. The music sounds great in the game. The Super Nintendo really does have a great sound chip. The music is clear, and in Blasters, they can have a really catchy tune to it. The songs in Laser Blazer are good, but I feel they could have had a little more pump to it. Not too pump though. We want music to match the atmosphere. I do think the music matches very well in Intercept though, especially the sound of the drum. The sound effects are great too. I like the sound of the tetrominos exploding, the sound of a match in Blasters B, and the explosion of missiles. I don't like how Engage doesn't have any music. It makes the atmosphere of the game very bland, and the alarm of an enemy missile gets very annoying once you hear it a lot. And trust me, you will hear it a lot. I give the replay value of Super Scope 6 a 13.5 out of 25. Half of the games really don't appeal to me, more specifically the Blasters games. I only go to them as a time killer. Whenever I have a YouTube video exporting or uploading, I'll come to the Blasters games, or I'll play Yoshi, Dr. Mario, Tetris, or Tetris 2. But the games in Blasters can be slow at times. Mole Patrol is pretty fast, but I lose interest in that game very easily. Playing Tetris with a gun is cool, but the slowness of the games can make it very boring. You're better off playing it with a D-pad and buttons, because you can actually move the pieces to the spot where you want it to go, flip it around, and make it drop faster. You can possibly make a line in 30 seconds or less playing regular Tetris, but in Blasters A, it may take some more time. The games I can come back to when I'm bored are the Laser Blazer games. They're really fun. I give the gameplay and features of Super Scope 6 a 23 out of 30. For starters, there's 6 games on the cartridge. You don't have to swap out the cartridge for another game. You can simply pause the game by holding the cursor and pressing the fire button twice, and you can choose another game to play. It's also sick to be able to have the amazing light gun. It makes gameplay extremely fun and enjoyable. However, the slow gameplay of the Blasters games takes this down a bit. I give the controls of Super Scope 6 a 35 out of 35. The only controls used in Super Scope 6 are the fire and pause, and you only use the cursor for the reset game combination. The Super Scope is extremely accurate, though sometimes if you move yourself a bit too much, your shots will be a little off, but you can easily fix this in-game by pressing pause, and the calibration screen will show up.
Well, that concludes the review of Super Scope 6. It's a pretty decent game, though only 3 games can entertain you for a period of time. The other 3 games, which are Blasters, is great as a time killer though. It can't really entertain you for long periods, usually like 5 to 15 minutes. I recommend you just play the puzzle games like Tetris and Columns and Tetris 2 and Dr. Mario on the Game Boy or the other systems, not with the Super Scope. It's really slow. Though I recommend you get this for your collection if you collect for the Super Scope. It's really cheap. I got mine for $6, and collecting Super Scope games is actually really cheap. The most pricey they can get loose are about $40. Sealed games can go for $100, and complete box games around $25. Thank you for sticking with the review. I'm Chris the Retro Gaming Critic, and I will see you in the next review. Peace out. Let's play this game some more. Yeah, let's play some more. Alright, let's just get the old man in here real quick. Already here. Oh, let's play Confront.
Hello there, it is Lester.
No, not you again, you ugly prick.
Hey, I can hear you. This is live.
Oh, sorry, ugly prick. What are you gonna do, Lester? Huh? Take a crap on our roof?
No, even better. I'm gonna set the game mode of Confront to high. If you can beat 3 levels on high mode, you guys will be fun. If you lose, your house will go bye-bye.
Oh yeah? How are you gonna do that? What's that noise? Holy crap! What the heck? The ship's from Confront?
Every time you get shot, aliens outside will shoot your house. Take 5 hits, and your house is gone. Good luck.
Alright, let's do this. God, this isn't looking so good. Give me the gun, Private. Let me take over. All right, take it. Crap! Crap! I don't think I can do this. If we disconnect the cartridge from the system, then that means all the ships will disappear. Give me the gun. I got this. Go to sleep, little child. Go to sleep. I told you to go to sleep. Yeah, and that's how you do it. Oh crap, Jester, you did it! Great job, we would have been dog food by now.
You did it, big boy. Great job.
Aw, thanks guys.
What? How did this moron do it?
Looks like you're the moron now, Lester.
No.
Well, that was crazy. Yeah, but who's gonna fix our house now?
Don't worry, I got this.
Oh, thanks, random dude. Hey, Chris, come check this out. Tasmanian tigers look weird. Yeah, what the freak? That looks like something that would be Lester's dog. Yeah, it kinda does. Ah! What the freak? Did one of you two do that? Not me. Well, that's strange. Alright, puzzle time, everyone! Alright, Try to find out who killed Sergeant Janus. I'm guessing the old man.